Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whoopsies. I'm dropping things. Happy Saturday. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Rita. Hello, everyone that's joining in. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, Darren. Hi. Welcome, everybody. So, we're here again, and we are going to be making another project using some of the free gifts that you are able to obtain at different levels from the Black Friday promotion that's going on right now. So today I am going to be recreating, but of course, as you know, putting a little Christopher spin on a project that one of our awesome inspiration team members, actually our inspiration team manager, actually created this one. So let's go ahead to the top view and take a look at this beautiful card that was created by our very own Shannon. And I just love this card. And I mean, I love this stamp set. It is such a cool stamp set and die set. And of course, you can earn this stamp and die set with your qualifying purchase through Monday. So let me show you what the stamp set looks like. So the stamp set is called Hand Dipped Holiday. And this Hand Dipped Holiday stamp set comes with a couple of different variations of a candied apple. So as you can see here, it comes with just the apple base. It comes with a piece here to wrap up your apple with ribbon. Comes with the bow for that ribbon. Two different stick variations. It comes with the another variation, which I believe this one is almost like a dip with some swirled chocolate at the bottom. Comes with a little Santa belt. Comes with all the pieces to make a reindeer. So all these different, really cool, really rustic looking pieces. Then we have some sentiments. We have a little treat for someone so sweet. Be jolly, be golly. Be jolly, by golly. It's Christmas, and then wishing you a season filled with sweetness. So this, and then of course one to make it into a reindeer, which is what we're going to do today. So this particular stamp set is available within the promotions, but if you take it one step further above what the promotions, with the next promotion level up, you will get the coordinating die for it as well. And who doesn't love a coordinating die? I mean, I know I love a coordinating die. So we are going to go through the different things that we are going to need real quick to create this this card. So of course you're going to need the Hand Dipped Holiday coordinating die and Hand Dipped Holiday stamp set. You are going to also need some markers. I'm using some Spectrum Noir markers today. I love the Spectrum Noir markers. They've been my favorite for a long time, and they are just an old faithful. I color with them all the time, and just makes sense to use those ones. You are also going to need a piece of the Perfect Blend alcohol marker cardstock. You can use the alabaster if you would like as well, but the Perfect Blend really was created for this particular purpose. You are going to need some sort of a cutting die that is a basic shape. On this card, Shannon used, it looks like she used a really cool stitched, almost, it's like a hexagon, it looks like, different shape with the stitching, but today we're going to use a circle. So again, use what you have to create the whatever you are looking to create for your background. We're also going to need a piece of pattern cardstock. This, the Doodlebug 12x12 cardstock has always been my favorite, and it will continue to be my favorite. because it's just so multi-purpose. So we have first, we're going to be using the heartwarming. This is a new one. So we have this plaid on the one side, and then I don't know if you can see, but we have a tone-on-tone snowflake, which is just absolutely beautiful. Then we are going to need, so it looks like here on Shannon's, she did a little rectangle. I'm going to use the die that comes with the Season of Giving box, just because it makes it a little bit easier for me to use a tag for this area. Then you're also going to need some ribbon. Oh, and also the tag die little reinforcer there. So also you will need some ribbon. It doesn't have to be necessarily coordinating ribbon, but just any ribbon. Of course, if you get the grab bag, I don't know if there's any ribbon grab bags left. I know that we were making more, so there might be some available. Now, one spin that I'm going to put on this card, because you know I have to always do things differently, is you are going to need a piece of cellophane. So you're going to need, now this is just a recycled bag. I believe that this was for embellishments. This happens to be the perfect size for what we're using. And this bag measures about 5 inches by about 2 3/4 inches. So I believe this is what, I'm pretty sure this is what we package the mini stencils in. So, but any cellophane will work. This just happens to be one that I pulled that is the perfect size. And then you are also going to need some sort of a twine. Now today I'm going to be using just a piece of twine from, this is actually not even twine, this is embroidery floss, but any type of twine will work for what we are going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And of course, we are going to begin from the base of the card, which is where I always like to begin all of the cards that I make. So if we're following along with this particular card, we are going to start with our background piece. So with the background piece, and soon, I promise in the new year, I'll have all sorts of graphics and stuff that can pop up so you can see it, so we don't have to kind of keep this in a split screen. But for right now, we are working with, I'm going to show you the piece of paper, and I think that should be pretty sufficient at this point right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this first piece down. We need this piece to be 4 by 5 1/4 because this is a layering piece. So 4 by 5 1/4, and that is our layering piece. So that's the very first piece that we need. And then I'm going to flip it over, and this is what we're going to cut our circle out of. So we can very easily supplement this by just flipping that piece over. So let's go ahead and position. Let's see here. So I would like to use, let's see what size we want to use, because we want to be able to see it, but we also don't want it to cover up too much. So I'm thinking, let's see. Yep. So this, if you have the Brutus Monroe Foundation circle dies, you are going to use the second size down. And we're gonna grab this and take it over to the die cutting machine. Is everybody having a good day today so far? I see a lot of people joining in the comments. Thank you for joining us. I know, getting text out. Well, I used to do a lot of different graphics and things like that whenever I did the pre-recorded videos, but now that they're not pre-recorded, it's much more of an on-the-fly sort of a situation. So there we go. We now have our piece cut out and ready. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of lighter cardstock. For our tag. And this happens to be a piece of cardstock that is, I believe that this is actually called the honeysuckle, and this is the color that is in the layering weight cardstock. So we're going to go ahead and use the Stephanie Bernard trick and just tear that piece really quickly, and then we can go ahead and grab our tag die and cut this piece out. watching football. Oh, awesome. Yes, there were lots and lots of additional orders today. So thank you to everyone that continues to place their orders. We sure do appreciate it. So, all right, so we have our little release pieces here. So we're going to pop this out, and I think that's going to look absolutely perfect right there. And now, of course, we're going to use our reinforcer because Darren gave us a reinforcer with this die. So since we have it, why not use it, right? So I'm going to grab a piece, just a scrap, and I think this reinforcer should be out of the plaid because, again, just that extra little add or that extra little addition of whimsy is really just what sets a card apart from the rest is when you're able to add just a little bit of something that someone would be like, wow, I'm so glad that they thought of that. So let's pop that out of there, and you'll see that it has that perfect little coloration on it from the plaid. Okay, so now we have our foundation set, right? So this is where the card will begin. So we basically were able to take Shannon's design, her basic design here, and pop it together just a little bit, just a tiny bit differently. And again, you can do this however you want. Create your own ending. Do whatever you would like to create a card that has different elements like this one. So now what we need to do is we need to grab so let's move this all to the side here and grab our piece of cardstock here for our stamping. So again, I'm just gonna cut this down ever so easily to a manageable size to put all of our pieces on. So let's see. So I think we can probably get away with about this big because we are going to stamp this out in the MISTI because it just makes sense to me to stamp them all at the exact same time, and I think that most of you will probably agree to just stamp them all at the same time, and then you can color them at the same time, and it just makes life so much easier. So it looks like I think I eyeballed that pretty well. Yep. We're just going to cut a tiny little bit off of the top here, just so that it fits in a little bit better. There we go. Because we have the range of motion here on the side, we have a little bit of extra give. Over on this side here, you can see where it will still close. And let's go ahead and let's start positioning our stamps. So let's keep our picture in the frame here, and let's grab our stamp set. And within this stamp set, we are going to need a couple of different pieces. The first piece we're going to need is the apple. So we'll position the apple right here, down here in the corner. Make sure everything's butted up against. We're also going to need the stem. So let's just position the stem. And again, position these wherever you would like. Just make sure that your dies will fit. And then we're going to need the antlers. And we'll do the face last because the face, whoops, upside down, Christopher. And then because the face, we're going to I think we'll use an acrylic block for the face. And then we need the little collar base there. Okay, so we're going to pick up all of our stamps. Since they're brand new stamps, they're kind of sticky. So what I recommend doing is just kind of using your hand and going over top of them. There's a million different things that, folks will suggest for you to do, like the eraser technique and all sorts of different stuff. I have found that just using your hand and the natural oils that your hand produce will take care of that sediment that is on the oh, that's a pretty good stamping right off the bat. But again, since we're using a MISTI, it's silly for us not to stamp it more than once because we really want that dark impression. And that looks pretty darn good to me. So let's go ahead and we can now move these pieces out of the way. We'll grab our squeaky clean and clean off our stamps. And we'll grab just a bit. Oh, nope, here it is. I was wondering where my microfiber cloth went, but it was right here. So we'll just clean these all off and place them back onto, and we'll actually do the face with the Misty because why not? It's already out. So we'll place all of these pieces right back onto the stamping sheet. And anyone that has never stamped this way before, you'll just place them right back where they were on your piece here, and then you can very easily find them again because they are indexed on the front. Now we'll grab our little face and position the face right onto the apple, because again, we are creating a candied apple out of, well, actually, I think this one's going to be a caramel apple, but you can make this red if you would want as well. It's completely up to you. And again, we'll stamp this more than once because we are using a Misty, so it just makes sense to be able to stamp it more than once and get a very dark impression, and there we are. And now all of our stamping is done with the exception of the tag, so we're going to go ahead and take care of the tag now too, so that all of our stamping is done and we can go ahead and put our stamp set away. Now, obviously, if you want to do this in a different manner, like you want to go in and stamp it and change it and do it in a different order, you can create in whichever way you would like. I just think it's nice to be able to get all of your stamping done right off the bat so you don't have to drag out the Misty again and try to re-stamp and so on and so forth. Put your inks away and makes it a little bit easier. So now I'm going to take a little treat for someone so sweet, which is the beautiful sentiment that is in the tag set, and we will stamp that on there. Now you could use embossing powder, you could use different colors of ink, you could really, again, do whatever you would like, but I'm going to use the Raven ink, which is alcohol marker safe as well as watercolor waterproof, and that's just simply because I think that having that stark contrast on the tag is really what this card will need. Yes, Jesse, actually, absolutely. All right. There will be new ones coming in the spring, Penny, in the spring. Well, thank you, Treva. That is very kind of you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and clean off our final stamp. I just put that tag away because we don't need it right now. And then we can put our stamp set away and we can get to coloring. All right, stamp set check. And let's move our Misty out of the way because we are done with that for now. And let's grab our piece here and let's get to coloring. So first and foremost, we are going to go in on our caramel apple, and we are going to start. You always want to start now. You don't always have to. This is, in my opinion, I like to start with the lightest color first. There are lots of folks that like to start with the darkest color first, but it is completely up to you. If you do better by using the darker color first into the lighter, it is completely up to you. I just prefer doing lighter into darker because I can see very simply and easily where the color, because with alcohol markers, they build on top of one another. So when you start coloring, you will notice that the color is there's going to be a striation of color in between the different colors that you put on, because you can see here how it's kind of blotchy where the colors overlap one another. But once you continue to add some more color over top, you are able to just build your color on top of one another. So if you have another color that you want to use that's darker or lighter, you can kind of just go in and you really can't oversaturate at least the Brutus Monroe papers. I can't speak for other papers that are out there on the market, because they very well can be oversaturated. But with ours, where they're pretty good. So I'm going to go in and test out this one. So I think that's a good secondary color. Our light source is coming from over here, which means that, and if you've ever taken one of my coloring classes, we talk a lot about light source and what happens when light hits something, especially something that's spherical. It's going to cast a shadow on the opposite side of where the light is hitting. So now we'll go back in with our original marker, and you can see, since we did light to dark, you're going to right before your eyes, you're going to see that this is becoming almost like a 3D apple. So now we are done with those colors. So I only brought in one red for the nose, because reds are a color that you can really build up very easily. So we're just going to use one red for the nose. And again, since the light is coming from this upper area, we're going to assume that this nose is a 3D embellishment, perhaps an M&M or something of that nature on this apple. So we want that to be standing out as well. And there we go. Now our caramel apple, just like that, is colored and ready to go. So for the little collar piece, or the piece that is the base, we're going to go in with YG1, which means yellow green. And I wanted to do a little bit of a darker base on this one. And that's just simply, and actually we're going to color right over top of these circles, because we are going to add an embellishment. Actually not an embellishment, we are going to add a deeper shade to the circle, so we don't have to worry about it. I was going to do an embellishment, but then I started thinking, we're going to do something very special with some cellophane on this one, so I probably wouldn't be wise to add an embellishment, because we, at least live, if I wasn't live, I'd add all the embellishments in the world, because we have what's called drying time when you're not live. Drying time does not exist when you are when you're live. You don't have any drying time when you're live. All right, so I did color in the base part of this as well. Hopefully you can see that base part as well. This is actually the Perfect Blend alcohol marker cardstock. We do the Not Your Mama's cardstock, although is on sale right now. So if you all love the Not Your Mama's cardstock, now is the time to grab it, because it never ever goes on sale. I think it's only been on sale one time since we've had it. So now we're going to leave the antlers white, because we will assume in our world that those are a white chocolate antler. And I think it's kind of fun to create a scenario in your mind of how this is being built, not on paper, but in how it would be built in real life. So there we go. So all of our coloring is done, and it's just as easy as that. You just have a few markers. If you are purchasing the tri-blend markers, that's probably the easiest way to color, because the tri-blend markers are, they're really 3 markers in one. So, okay, so I'm going to now grab our die set. And really, I just ripped that puppy right up, and you could use this as your cellophane if you would like to. And we're going to tape down all of our pieces. Remember, with the Brutus Monroe dies, we give you these handy guides to figure out where all of your dies go back to. So all we're going to do is we're just going to position this right on top. And please, 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 this is not a time for perfection. Just line it up the best way you can. Darren works very, very, very hard on making sure that they line up for you before you even get to this point. So all you have to do is just find basically the center point of where your die is, and just line it up and go. And you'll see, once we run this through, it will be perfectly die cut. So see that? Just kind of center it the best you can. Don't stress about it. Please don't stress about it. It is just paper, and we can cut out all of our little pieces. Coordinating die set, in my personal opinion, is one of the best tools that you can have in your toolbox when it comes to stamping, because there's nothing like the professional look of a right, Jesse, don't we? A professional look of these being die cut out. Now, obviously, you still want it to look kind of homemade, but not too homemade. You know what I mean? That you want that blurry line between homemade and Hallmark. That's where you want to be. If you can get to that point, that is really the best place to be. Again, in my opinion, with card making. So now we're going to take, so all of these are lined up. Good, Darren, I'm glad. All right, so we'll go ahead and run the dies through. And you'll see here in just a moment, one already fell out because these dies really are awesome in releasing the paper. We will have all of our pieces perfectly cut out, ready for us to position on our card. So there's our antlers, and the little collar base, and the little apple, and our little stick has already been cut out. And that is all she wrote. So now we can take our die base, our backer piece, move these little pieces out of the way, and then go right back in. This sticky will last over and over and over again. And you're just going to stick your pieces right back where they were for storage. I use the Platinum 6. The Platinum 6 is my favorite machine. And they just came out with a new one, a very pretty one. Very, very, very pretty one. All right, so there we go. So there are all of our pieces. So now what we're going to do is we need to assemble this before we place it on the card. And you'll understand why in just a moment. So let's move that to the side and let's assemble our card base. So the card base that I'm using today is a card base that is a pre-cut and scored card base. We offer these at Brutus Monroe. They are an absolute lifesaver if you want to have card bases that are really, 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 really ready to go as soon as you get started. So now I'm going to use a piece of, now this is that, and I can never remember the name. It's like the luminous. There's a special name for it. This particular cardstock from Sizzix. It is on sale. It's part of the sale, but I want to use this as my background. So we're going to go ahead and cut this down because, of course, if you have the ability to add just a little bit more sparkle, why not? I mean, right? If you can add just a little bit more sparkle to your card, go ahead and add as much as you can. So we're going to cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because that is a standard A2 size card. And this is going to be our, so we're just going to have like a little border that's around the outside. But a good tip that I can give you is, since you're only going to see a tiny little border of this card, don't waste this. Take a die, and well, let's do this size down just to be safe. But take a die and chop out this center part, and then you can use that on another card because you're not going to see the center. So cut out that part with a circle die or a square die or whichever die you have sitting around. It could be a star die, it could be a hexagon die, it could be whatever you have, but cut it out because you don't want to waste that center part, and that also will remove some of the bulk from your card. So see, now we have a circle that we can use on another card, and we're also not wasting, I mean, not that it's wasted because it will look beautiful on the card, but we are not using up this center part that we're not going to see. So cut that out and save it, right? All right, so let's start building our card here. So let me grab a little bit of adhesive. This is my favorite adhesive runner from ThermoWeb. And we're going to place this right on here like so. And again, remember, we're not going to see the center part. Although, I mean, really, you could do whatever you want with that piece, and you could add, you know, you could add a little scene inside of that circle. You could pop it up. You could turn it into a shaker. You all know me. My mind goes about 700 miles an hour. Okay, so now we have the perfect little border all the way around, and we still have a circle that we can use on another card. So see how that just adds just a little bit of shimmer all the way around. Okay, so we're going to lay this back out flat, and now we're going to apply our circle. We're going to kind of offset the circle just a little bit so we see more of that. And then we are going to attach our tag. But before we attach our tag, we need to add on our little reinforcer piece that I bet y'all thought I was going to lose, but it's right here. Yeah, no faith. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of adhesive. I'm using the two-way adhesive glue pen, which is my favorite to use for little pieces like this. Unfortunately, we do not have these in stock, but that can't stop me from using it because it just makes life so simple when it comes to these little pieces. And just got to make sure you get it positioned down. And I'm going to use the end of this because it does want to stick to my fingers, but it really does set up very, very quickly. All right, and then we're going to add just a little piece of ribbon. So I'm going to use this gray ribbon because I think it's going to complement it really, really well. This is from a holiday set of ribbon that we had. The Brutus Monroe ribbon is just absolutely, absolutely wonderful. And you get 3 yards on each spool, and it's just the perfect amount of ribbon for card making. I mean, I've seen so many folks, and you know, I get it, that purchase the big spools of ribbon, and that's great, but sometimes you just need just a little bit of ribbon, and that's what we created these for, so that you can just have a little bit of ribbon, and it makes life so much simpler. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this through, and I'm going to take the ribbon like so, and we're going to place it through this right here, and try to hope that our reinforcer doesn't. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to do it this way. So we'll place it through like this, and this will add a little bit of extra visual interest to it. So we'll place it like that, and then we will tie a little piece of twine right there. So we're going to grab, and again, I keep saying twine. It's not twine. It is embroidery floss. So we'll grab ourselves just a little piece of embroidery floss. And this is a technique that I think I've seen several times when you're doing the tags, is you just take a little piece of embroidery floss and you will place it like so. And again, embroidery floss, twine, don't stress about it. Whatever you have, use that. And then we'll just tie a little knot. And it just adds a little extra oomph to your tag there. Because I mean, if we would have done it the loop-de-loop like I was going to do, that would have added, I think, a little bit too much bulk. And when you see what I'm fixing to do, we don't want any additional bulk on this card. So chop chop, and let's see how this is going to go. So this is going to go like that. So we'll just cut off the edges like so. And that gives us just the little extra bit that we need on the card like that. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this piece, because now this is finished. And we'll place that as close over to the side but still lined up as possible. And see, it still has a little bit of dimension, which I love. So now let's go ahead and let's assemble our little guy here. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of adhesive to the top here. And we will place that right at the bottom, so we can see that he has a little collar, and a little bit wonky to the side, I think is really what we're looking for here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our bag that's like this, and I'm going to cut off just right above, so there's a heat seal line. Do you see that heat seal line at the bottom? That's what it would naturally look like if you had a caramel apple. So keep that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this guy right down inside of the bag, like so. And you could add a little dot of adhesive if you would like. I'm personally not adding a dot of adhesive. I don't think it needs it. I think it'll be fine right in there. And then we're just going to cut it down to about, I'd say about there. And then we're going to gather it and see how that makes it look like it's an actual caramel apple. So let me grab a piece of the, not twine, but embroidery floss. Yes, a little razzle dazzle. And, whoops, I didn't use my ribbon shears, but that's okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take this, place it in the center here. And what you'll do is you're going to start bringing it in from the sides. So you don't want to keep all the gather right in the center, because that's not what a caramel apple would look like, right? I mean, that's not, the gather would be from all sides. So now we're going to take our piece of twine and we'll hold everything down to the best of our ability. And we'll take our twine and we will just very simply and easily, if you have a friend, this would be the time to phone a friend, because you really want to get a good tie on there. But again, when you see the caramel apples, the fancy caramel apples in the store, they, you know, they're not always super tightly kept together like this. And then you can take your top pieces, and there is our little caramel apple. Isn't that just the cutest thing you ever did see? So now we're going to cut off our little pieces here, and now we have our little caramel apple reverse tweezers. Well, Michelle, unfortunately my reverse tweezers are in the shop, but whenever they come out of the shop, they're getting the transmission serviced right now. But actually, I don't even think I own a pair. Oh, well, I'm sure we have a couple pairs around here, but I don't have a pair down here, but I am going to definitely grab a pair now that you have suggested that, because that is a great idea. All right, so now we're just going to position our little candied apple right there. And now, for me, these antlers would not fit, obviously, in the bag. But to me, if this was something that was being small rubber bands, all right, all of these things, I'm going to need for all of you to submit these things before I start on the cards. I do know the small rubber bands you're talking about, though. They would work great. And when this would be packaged, I don't think that the antlers would be inside. I think that they probably cut little slits to make sure the antlers could poke out, because really the antlers just wouldn't make sense inside of the bag. So we're going to pretend that just like that, they are not inside, and we're going to position this one so that it doesn't interfere. And then for the stick, we are going to tuck the stick in the bag and also out of the bag. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to take this, we're going to position this just ever so easily inside of the bag. And it's, you know, I say ever so easily, but the one problem we're going to run into is it does have adhesive on it. And you all know it's extremely extremely easy to do these things when you're doing them live. If this wasn't live, it would have went right on in that bag. But when you're live, it's things don't just slip to where they're supposed to be. So let's go ahead and lift this up a little bit, and there we go. So now you can see the stick. We just want it to be out. Whoops. Well, I guess it could go that way. Yeah. Okay. So now we have our stick that is back behind, and you can see that wrapper. And it really creates the look of a candied apple that you have purchased from the store. And I mean, could you imagine, I mean, how exciting would it be to receive this card? I mean, I personally would absolutely love to receive a card like this, because truthfully, number one, it was a labor of love, and number two, when you are, oh wait, yeah, those rubber bands, I feel like you could use those rubber bands that people were using to like make those bracelets too. That would probably work as well. So there is our card for today. So I hope all of you enjoyed creating with me today. We did create this super fun little, and we're going to add this now to our collection of cards that we have created during the Black Friday event. We'll place this Celebrate one back there because I still love you. You're just not part of the Black Friday event. And we'll place that right back there. And there is our card for today. So I'm super excited that all of you have been able to, well, most of you, I think most of you have been able to grab all of the items that you have had your eye on for the past several months. Right now, I'd say 99.9% of the website is on sale. And if there's anything that is not, that is out of stock, there are some things that we'll be restocking, some things that we will not be restocking. And of course, that is all completely based upon the demand from our partners in creativity, whom is you. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you, as always, for being a part of my life. Remember to create something every single day, whether that is your own faux caramel apple for your beautiful, sweetest card in the world, or your own ending. I appreciate you all and love you so very much. I hope that you have the opportunity to shop the sale. Remember, Afterpay has been activated on our website, and you are able to split up your order, payments of your order, into 4 payments, which is, I just think, the best thing in the world. So if you want to jump for that $300 level where you will get the Martha Stewart trimmer, you can do that, and you don't have to worry about all of that payment being upfront. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for being a part of my life. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you all very soon.